Hi, John Tui here, Solaris Knight, and Doggy Kruger, and a shout out to Action Activate. Stay tuned.
Greetings, welcome, hello, hi. We're going live. Activate. I'm Gazbot. That's the banner, and with me, as always,
live and in stereo, it's the big dog here and ready to answer all of those questions. Like, whoa,
Burning
Facebook Live, and hey, wow, time for the ramble. Lol.
Yeah, it's definitely a ramble.
Very
it's
true.
Like we got a Quellen and a Matt Kendall Clare and a Drake Drago. Hello, all of you. Thank you for joining us with no notice, no preparation. You're just right in there. So we appreciate that.
Yep.
Full disclosure, our initial plan, we were recording a review, and then the plan was...
And then hold there. The plan's changed. Go watch the video.
Go watch the video, yes. But so there is a review coming of the new Dino Fury episodes. So that's not what we're here to talk about right now. But we are... Oh, I forgot to put these things up. Yeah. It's been so long we did a live. I forgot I could even do this. I'm throwing them all up. Everybody's...
I'm not going to try to overhype the last video, but it may be one of our most controversial yet.
Yeah, people just need to watch it for themselves. Let's just not even... Let's not even get
You're
into
right.
Yeah,
We'll
let's not talk about it here. So that'll be going up either later tonight or tomorrow in the afternoon, and that will be a regular recorded one. But we have been away for a while. We haven't done a recorded or a live, so we figured we're just going to come on. We want to catch up with each other about Power Rangers news. You guys could ask us stuff you want, or just hang out. That's cool.
Yep.
That's correct response.
Just watch.
There's a million things to talk about, and if you guys have topics you want us to discuss or questions you have for us, throw them out. But the first thing I want to talk about, because it's very pressing right now in my mind, is the crazy deals going on the Lightning Collection right now. So I'm going to add this to the stream. This is literally right now on Amazon. The $30 deluxe King Sphinx went down to $8.99. Earlier today it was at like $12. It's less than half of a normal figure price.
Yep.
That's insanity. If you have any desire whatsoever to get it, get it. If you bought one and left it in the box, get this one. If you want to customize one, like if you want to make it.
If you ever wanted to practice painting something, now's the time.
Yeah. Get it and make it into an X-Men villain or something. It's nuts. And then the big dog, and I did get one myself, just to be clear. I'm not just, and I don't get any money from it. But then the big dog pointed out right before we went live that Red Dino Thunder 824. The crazy thing is that means he's like, what, 60 cents, 80 cents, less than $1 less than King Sphinx. This is a great deal. This is less than half price, but King Sphinx was such a good deal that he seems like, that's pretty good. There might be others, like if you search around, like for whatever reason. Oh, and it's not just Amazon, because I happen to look at Walmart. Yeah. And Walmart is $8.99 too. And if you have Rakuten, you get another 6% off. So it's crazy town. It's crazy town over there.
I've heard that people on Instagram were confirming that Target was price matching earlier.
Oh, well, wait. Oh, so they were price match. So it was a little bit higher. They saw what Walmart was doing and came down?
No, Target was price matching Amazon.
I'm sorry. I was thinking, okay, there you go. So there, had I known that, maybe I would have waited. Well, but you don't want to wait, because what if it sells out? If you're, this is the kind of thing where it could sell out or the price could go back up.
You do it or you don't. That's
some people are thinking it might get cheaper, but I don't think it's going to get cheaper. A figure for $9. I don't think that's going to get better than that.
I think the ones at Target that are Spectrum Collection could go as low as $7.50. That's my finger in the wind.
The fact that Target has Spectrum Collection, which for those that don't know is the special reflective packaging, the inside is exactly the same. What makes you think that it will go to $7.50? Where's that number coming from?
I've seen figures and like deluxe Hasbro stuff go to that in the past, so that's part of the reason.
So you've seen $30 deluxe Hasbro figures go to $7.50.
I believe so. I've at least seen Legends do it. I'm pretty sure.
Legends are usually $20.
Yeah, I'm. That's my call shot.
It's just a weird specific number. Like you're not like, I think it can get cheaper.
I've seen NECA stuff do that. That's why I was like, what is that price point? Yeah, I've seen NECA stuff go about that level.
I mean, I hope you're right, and that'd be crazy, but I'm not, for $1.50, I'm not waiting.
Oh, no. I'm not knocking it. That's just me saying, like, is this the lowest price it'll ever be? That's me saying, I don't think so. But even if I'm wrong, it's right there on 2 different places. Go do it.
Yeah, agreed. All right. Well, so I start off with that mess. Like, dude, buy toys. I think this is what you want to talk about, though.
Yeah.
Right?
So Gaz and I off camera have been talking about the Power Rangers Unlimited Edge of Darkness special. Because in a lot of the Ranger groups, the writer, Frank Gogol, has been posting about it nonstop, doing a great job promoting the book. Awesome covers. We get to see Phantom Ranger again. Like, everything's great. We kept thinking it was coming out literally like any day.
Oh, yeah.
For the last month and a half.
More than that for me, because he's been posting about it in Ranger groups. But for those that don't know, I'm an illustrator, comic artist guy, so I'm in a lot of art groups on Facebook. To be clear, I've probably said this before, I don't know Frank at all. Like, we're not friends, but I have posted back and forth with him once or twice on these groups, and I've seen his stuff around. So we're just artists that happen to be in the same group.
Yeah.
And so I've seen him do the thing of like, guys, you're never going to believe this. I'm actually working on, like, I saw that like a while ago. And then he started promoting. So for me, I'm like, I've been hearing about this for like months.
Yeah.
And it's like, come out already, like.
So I've read the similar named title called Power Rangers Unlimited. You don't have to pull it up.
I'm pulling it up.
Heir of Darkness, which is really good. Check it out. So I'm assuming these two are tied together, but in the sake of wanting to go in, that's a great cover, and I wish I had it. Jenny Frizen did the art for that, and she does phenomenal female-centric covers.
With Astronema, with like the background.
Jenny Frizen, where it's the silhouette of like the main female character of the book, so that like in my head goes with those. But
I'm not saying I don't like it. That is nice art, but me personally, I prefer this, like the detail. It makes me think of Mobius, which is, like it's not exactly, but it looks like someone that likes grew up reading.
It's not busy, but it has like so much in it. It's just so,
and the color too. It's a lot of the division is done with color rather than like.
Yeah, I could see that actually.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Oh, that is also the comic Astronema, so I like it for that reason.
Right.
Oh, but I'm pretty sure these tie together. I haven't looked because I kind of don't want to know until I read it next week on June 30th on a Wednesday. So we are 8 short days, 7.5 depending on where you live. Short days away. That's a great cover too. I think that's Inhyuk Lee if you hover over it. Hi, Tyler. On the bottom, can you hover over that image and see what it says?
Which image?
Oh, I guess we can't.
I missed
that cover. I wanted to see what
this is. The 1 in 50 retailer incentive.
Oh wait, hover over it. What does it say?
Edge of Darkness Unlimited. It's 1 in 50. If that's what you're trying to figure out.
No, usually what it says on this site, because I use this to see what's coming out, it'll say like a name next to it, and it'll let you know what artist it is. But this one, it's not for whatever.
Oh, well, maybe I have to make it not be the main image. No.
Oh, maybe if we go to
that's my favorite one, and that's the one that's hard to get.
Oh no, it is. Yeah, same. Yeah. Doesn't
cover
say.
artist Dan Moore, but that's not Dan Moore.
That's the main. Yeah, he does the one with the Tengas. But either way, should be cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tyler. We look forward to you watching the most recent video,
which will be up. It probably won't be up tonight, but it'll be up tomorrow during the day at the latest.
Soonish.
Yeah. Good luck. Okay. We're not going to talk about that.
All right. Anyways, let's get back to chat.
Yeah.
Drake, what'd you say? Currently, Power Rangers is exploring early versions of future Ranger season stuff. Yeah. So, without going into spoiler territory, for the comics, because I know Gazbot and others are behind. They're doing a cool job of really making the comic universe its own thing. Like, the easiest way I would compare it for comic book readers is if you read any of the Ultimate line from Marvel, where it's like modernized reimaginings with a lot of the same beats, but like when it takes a turn, it's like, here's what we're doing in our thing. It's different. This is our thing. Like,
but also I could see pulling from each other too.
Oh, 100%.
Like if an idea or a character is good enough, they're gonna make it pull it.
Yeah. Like right now, just through the covers, you could see, Astronema's here, but we're not in space. We're still Mighty Morphin. Yup, but she still existed during that time. So Here we go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Heroes of the Grid is a board game,
Which
and
Big Dog has the first 2 expansions for?
first 2 or 2.5. I did the original Kickstarter, so I have a
Right.
bunch of it. I just haven't played it yet.
And Matt Frank did a lot of the Zeo art for those that are fans of his art. Well, and that was the thing. Again, the dumb little things, because I'm an artist speaking, like I knew about that so long ago. Like way before because I tabled next to him and we're just talking. And he's like, hey, don't tell anybody. And I can't show it. But he had like a bunch of art on his phone. He's like, look what I've been doing. I'm going to, because he's known for doing Godzilla. So it was like a big deal that he was doing Power Rangers. And I was like, that's awesome. Can't show anybody, can't tell anybody.
It's funny. One of my favorite pieces of art from him is the PMC promotional art he did where it was Dragonzord versus Godzilla.
I have that on my wall downstairs. That's
so cool.
It is very, very cool.
And it's one of those things, it's a shame where like it was a giveaway and for everybody who wanted it like us, awesome. But I feel like you get so many giveaway things at cons that people are just like, oh, whatever, some posters. And if you don't look, you're like, I would have like legitimately paid money for this. This is so cool.
I'll go so far as to say it was free, and it's on kind of a thin paper, like a real poster paper. But if he had it for sale on a thick, nice print paper, I would have bought it even though I got it for free. This is the image we're talking about.
Oh yeah, so cool.
Yeah. So, and this is an old post, obviously, but it's very cool. And this is sort of the Millennium era Godzilla, like the 2000s era, because this was before. I think it was before Legendary, or maybe right when the first Legendary came out, and definitely before Shin.
This is either from 2016 or 2018. I want to say it's 2016.
And I think the first Legendary movie probably came out.
What's the timestamp on it?
Oh, 2016. Yeah. So
perfect.
So the first Legendary was out. Maybe Shin was out, but anyway, this was sort of the most modern Godzilla at the time when he did it, I guess. But yeah, no, it's very, very good. I mean, I'm a fan of his art in general, but this was he's done a few Power Ranger pieces, and this, even though it's a crossover with Godzilla, I agree with you. It's by far his best, I think.
Yeah. So I rambled about the comic. What do you got?
Well, I'm going to see what chat says. That's what I'm going to do.
Matt's comparing our board game collection. He wins.
Oh yeah, sure. And you both defeat me. Okay, I know I have something. I'm kind of going to throw it back to you because you had sent me a link about Power Rangers on Netflix, but also going to be going back to Nickelodeon, and I don't know what I did with that link. Do you know what link that was?
Yeah, so the short version of it is we got episodes 1 through 11 on Netflix right now. 9, 10, and 11 are new, weren't on Nickelodeon before. News to me, because this literally came out today, is they confirmed episode 12 is going to be on Netflix, and then in the fall, around September, is when the rest of season 1 is going to air normally.
Right. Do you remember what site you saw this on? Because I'm having trouble finding it.
It was on Instagram, I want to say.
All right. Well, you keep talking. I'll find the link.
Yeah. So no pink spandex. So the thing about it is it smashes the rumors that it's all going on Netflix, which depending on who you talk to, some people are for it, some people are against it. What's up, Tony Robinson? So I guess we haven't really discussed it. How do you feel about this?
I don't know that I have a strong emotion for it. Okay. As anybody that follows us knows, both of us are loath to jump to conclusions that a lot of other people jump to in any direction. I'm very much let's wait and see. Let's hear from an official source. But I guess what I'll say is, unofficially, whatever level of worried I am that Sentai footage will no longer be used in Power Rangers, or whatever level of worried I am that the Power Rangers are going to be changed forever and maybe not in a way I like, this news makes me a little less worried.
Yeah.
Because and there's not a lot of logic involved in this, and I'm not trying to change anyone's mind or convince anyone of anything because I don't know anything and whatever. But if it was off, let me put it this way: if it was off Nick, then that worries me. So the fact that it's going back to Nick, it's not so much that's good news; it's just not bad news. Maybe that's the way I would put it.
Yeah, the thing with them potentially not using Sentai going forward, I've accepted in my head that if that happens, I'm not going to feel distraught. I would be a little bummed. I'm not going to lie.
I would be very bummed.
It's been out there for so long, it wouldn't be a shock.
Agreed. I wouldn't be shocked, but I'm going under the assumption they're going to keep doing Sentai unless I hear otherwise. But I definitely know that could be wrong.
Yeah. And I think it's a thing too, because when we talked to Scott Zellner about it in one of our old interviews.
Sure. Scott Zellner, founder of Power Morphicon, who has close ties to Saban, Hasbro, Toei, everybody involved in this.
He's the guy that knows the guys and gals.
Yeah.
He knows everybody.
Yeah.
But like, it doesn't. He put me at ease to kind of some of the fearful side of it, where he's like, if they have all of this stuff and it's not costing them any more money, why would they throw it away? That makes no sense. That's like saying, hey, you have a full library at your disposal and you can read whatever you want. Doesn't mean you have to, but you could, like, it's there. You don't need to get rid of it all just because, you don't want to read it.
Nothing.
Okay.
That's funny. Okay, let me take this. What just happened, I was like, oh, let me pull up a picture of Scott. For those that don't know, they may have seen him. He was also on the Toys That Made Us 3. He's like, he's a behind the scenes guy, but he's also a little bit of a celebrity in his own right. And so I was like, let me throw this picture and submit. But somehow the picture that came up was Facebook, and it opened my Facebook. So for half a second, there was a message there to me. Nothing terrible. But
it's just funny. When it's Rangers, it's all Ranger related.
Oh, brother.
But yeah, long story long, I think they're not going to get rid of Sentai completely unless they do some weird backward deal with Toei. Yeah. And assuming that they keep using the Japanese footage and suits and whatever that they have, if you threw out, a Kamen Rider or some Beetleborgs and Lightning Collection, I wouldn't complain.
Well, Beetleborgs, yeah, I mean, they absolutely should. Any character, regardless of source material, any character that showed up in Power Rangers should be fair game. Whether it's Gavon or Space. What was the other one? The
Skyfire.
Yeah, but what was his Sentai name? I thought it's the same as the character from Naruto. Pervy Sage. It's the same. The name of the character is the same as a main character in Naruto. Somebody in chat has to know this.
Sasuke.
No. Are you just naming the one Naruto character?
I know like 4. It's not Rock Lee. And it's not Sasuke. It's not Naruto.
He's one of the senseis. He's like an older guy with white hair. His nickname is the Pervy Sage, but that's not the name. Anyway, well, that character.
If only someone in chat knew Naruto so well.
Jaspion might be the name of the Sentai character. No, wait. Jaspion wasn't that. That was one of the VR troopers, wasn't it?
I think that was the not the main VR trooper, but the other guy. I believe was Jaspion.
Yeah. Because the other were Shider. There was Shider and Sharavan, but yeah, or like you said, the Beetleborgs who showed up in Power Rangers, because those ones are VR troopers that didn't show up in Power Rangers. So
Beetleborgs was just in the crossover comic, I believe.
No, they weren't Beetleborgs, but some of those characters were part of the Machine Empire in Forever Red.
Yeah. Sorry.
Regardless of what you call them, you can call it whatever you want, but you would get a Beetleborg figure it could be Beat Fighters, it could be Beetleborg, it could be the Machine Empire, but you have that character.
No, you're right. I thought you were going down a different way.
No, and that's what I was
thinking. Confused.
Gavon was in Beast Morphers, like that suit was in Beast Morphers, whatever you want to call it. Yes, they could bring in Beetleborgs. Yes, they could bring in VR Trooper stuff, but the ones that actually appeared in Power Rangers under whatever name are much more likely to happen. It is driving me insane that I can't remember the name of this character.
If only somebody you knew had.
I wish,
if
Helen was still in chat, she would definitely know. Yeah. Oh, Jiraiya! It's Jiraiya. Thank you, Drake Drago. Jiraiya. Yeah, because Jiraiya is the name of, I believe, the character that Sheriff Skyfire was, but he's also a main character in Naruto. Whoo! Okay. Also, Kamen Rider isn't wholly owned by Toei. There are a lot of other races, and Jiraiya. Thank you. We could be done. I don't even care anymore. Jiraiya.
If they don't give us Masked Rider, I'll live. If they give me the others, I will take that trade all day.
Yeah, I'd almost rather have the others only because there are so many Kamen Rider figures, including of Black and the ones that appear in Power Rangers, that while it'd be nice to have a Lightning Collection scale version of it, the other more underrepresented, like a Jiraiya, would be better for that reason. But Beetleborgs, they did have some SH figure arts Beetleborgs of the main 3. They weren't metallic-y or they really expensive. Oh, they made 4. They made Shadow Borgers too.
They made Shadow. They didn't make the white Borg.
Gotcha. Metal Heroes of Virtues and Beauty. Yes. Yep.
Full.
I was about to like.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
What was I going to say? That's one of those things that like they'll never answer it on one of those like fan first live ones. But I feel like it's so easy for them to be like, let us just clarify this really quick, as opposed to like, why is there no paint on all the heads on the figures? And it's like,
Speaking of paint on figures, we both bought Dino Thunder White exclusive. And I wrote to them and they sent me the replacement head. That was great. You did too, right?
Yeah, thanks. I haven't yet. I'm probably never going to get it.
Yeah. How long do you think this offer is going to be good for? Because they're not just sitting on a box of heads
in
forever.
perpetuity.
No, not in perpetuity, sir. You've just decided is you're going to take a Gundam marker and do it yourself, I think.
Or I'll just find somebody with another and then, pull the old. I'll get a new one with the right head, and then mine that's perfectly in package. I'll be like, who doesn't open their figures and needs this one? Because
gotcha. So treat it. All right, that's not the worst plan you've ever had. Oh,
I've had far worse plans. Not only just on the show, but in life, like way more.
Drake Drago, according to Simon Bennett, Sentai footage are here to stay until the foreseeable future. So again, that's a point. But
that's what I'm saying,
and that's great news, and that's what we want to hear. Now, I don't know if he's been clear that we're going to keep getting seasons of Power Rangers for Sentai 1-to-1 like that. But as long as they're using it in some way, great. Yeah, great.
And it's a thing. I think we've talked about it in the past when it's come to this. The old concept that was going to be Ninja Storm originally before it transferred over was called Power Rangers Hexagon. And it was like a best of where it was essentially Grid Battle Force, but like every season was applicable. And it'd just be like, hey, we're going to throw in a team up with Lightspeed Rescue today. And then you also get one with Xeon, whatever. Yeah. And like, you could easily do something like that if you have little bits of footage where you're like, let's save a little bit of cost here and maybe a Zord fight there and whatever, but still make it your own. And the biggest question I have is where it's going to go after this season. Yes. And that's not in a bad way, just so I kind of know, and that, like you said, gauges where it's at. Where right now it's a whole lot of hurry up and wait.
Here's the thing.
Bad.
Honestly, I don't even mind the speculation drives me nuts, and I don't begrudge people speculating. But like some people get really like intense and like have huge heated arguments and like rivalries and flame wars and stuff over this. Like none of us 100% know, and none of us is 100% right. And honestly, like if it wasn't for people talking about it so much, I probably wouldn't be thinking about it so much. It'd be like, okay, well, I guess we'll see what happens, but I can't help but think about it because everyone talks about it so much. But regardless what happens, as long as Power Rangers keeps going in some way, I'll keep watching. Do I want it to keep Sentai footage? Yes. But if it doesn't, I'll still give it a chance and see what happens.
Hey, we got a question about Lightning Collection stuff, bringing it back to toys. Yeah. Gaz, what do you think about the Turbo Navigator?
I don't know what the Turbo Navigator is.
It's the gun that turns into a little like.
Right. Oh, because they did that tease. Refresh my memory because I remember it had no reference, so we don't know if it's an accessory or if it's like a role play item. Correct?
Yeah, correct. My money is on it coming with a Phantom Ranger figure.
No, I agree. It would be awesome if it was a role play item, but they've not done many role play items, especially that isn't Mighty Morphin. Yeah. So I think it's going to be Phantom. Well, we talked about this a little bit at some point, I think. I don't know if it was on air or not, but how it could arguably go to the Red Ranger from Turbo or whatever, which would make more sense because that's a more reusable mold. But Phantom Ranger's comic is coming out right now, and he's one of those like fan favorites that, they like to
and
throw
we just got a Clipter.
There you go. Yeah. I think it's going to be now. Here's the thing, though. I don't think it's going to be a single pack. I think it's going to be a 2-pack or like some kind of deluxe thing. So you're not just buying him.
What if? Oh, this would be so great. What if it's a 2-pack with a Tenga?
I would not like that because they sell the Tenga separately.
Yeah, they also do with putties. What's your point?
I wouldn't hate it because they are army builders. So if you have to have a duplicate, sure. But I would rather it be Blue Centurion, which it won't. I understand. Like I'm saying that, but I don't want. I think it's more likely that it'll come with maybe a Turbo Ranger, a mold they could reuse, similar to what they did with Psycho Red and Red Lost Galaxy, something like that. I think there's very little chance they're going to put Phantom Ranger out as a normal $20 pack.
I think it's
And I'm
unlikely
okay with
unless it's an exclusive to like Best Buy or something.
I hope it's not an exclusive because everybody wants that one. Because again, we've talked about this. Phantom Ranger is one of those figures that even if you're not a huge Power Rangers fan, or even if you only know Mighty Morphin, he's just cool looking, and he could go with Marvel. He could go with Star Wars. He could go, he could fit GI Joe even. Like he could be, some Cobra Eel character. I'm gonna bring him up. I'll look at a picture of him again.
Yeah. To me, if they had unique molds and they always packed it with an army builder or a villain going forward, I'd 1,000% be for that if we get more of them.
That's fair. I wanted that to fill the whole screen and it didn't. That's fair. And I responded a little bit too negatively to your suggestion that it'd be a Tenga, because that probably would be the best, fairest thing. I already have a Tenga on pre-order, so I'm like, I'd rather, and I'm not a huge army builder.
I was going to say, you're in kind of a niche of that where you're like, I have a Tenga and I'm done. Whereas other people are like, what do you mean you're limited to one per order? And
right. Well, and I don't begrudge people army building. And I do have 3 putties, for example. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I do, and the Stormtroopers I have a few of, but it's not a goal necessarily, So I would rather have a character. If I had a choice between another Tenga and a character I don't have, I'd rather have a character I don't have.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's a thing though, and there's no way Hasbro always listens selectively, and it's so frustrating where it's like, hey, do you guys want these really specific figures and molds that like are kind of niche, but we're worried to like put out, so we're just gonna not? Sure,
right.
Put them out. I'll buy another figure I already have. I don't care. Preferably one that I don't mind having multiples of. Because when you give me 9 Jasons, I'm gonna say I'm upset, but I'd prefer to not have 9 Jasons, but you throw a putty in there or something, and it's like, sure, I'll take it.
Kev's Collectibles is saying he thinks it's going to be turbo green because of codes and such.
We'll see.
Which it could be. But
if you're right, Kev, we will give you a Ninja Steel point.
Absolutely. Free of charge.
Speaking of that Ecliptor, though, if you could pull that up, that thing looks phenomenal.
Can you comment on that? The comment I put up, all I'm looking for.
Yes. Honestly, after my disappointment with Dino Fury Episode 8 being colossally awful, where I do not give a care about it, I don't want more crossovers rather than Dino Fury remaining standalone. I personally don't think it was a colossal failure. So difference of opinion there.
What was
the
crossover with 8? Was that when Mick was there?
Yes, with Mick, yeah.
I don't agree that was a colossal failure. Could it have been better? Sure. I feel that's true of almost every crossover.
Yeah.
But I made no secret about the fact that Mick was my favorite character on Ninja Steel. Yeah. So I like that he came back. Again, I would have liked to have been better, but I guess what makes it a colossal failure?
Versus like, if you could expand on that, I'm very curious what you disliked about it.
Yeah, same. Because saying it's disappointing or wasn't that great, you don't need to explain. But a colossal failure just seems like you something about it bothered you that didn't bother me. And we'll come back to that when you commented. Let me pull up the image that Big Dog was talking about here. This is the Ecliptor. And the new Astronema too, actually, I realized.
Yeah, that is one of my like dream figures for this collection.
It's also, for me, it's great too, because I have the vintage figure, but he's missing his cape and his sword. Yeah. And now I don't care anymore. Like, because I'm not a vintage, like, I want the best version. You know what I mean? Like, so now I wanted an Ecliptor figure. Now that there's a better one, I'll sell the vintage.
So the funny thing, and I know it's not next to you, I played with the vintage toy so much, I forgot what the actual like screen accurate design was. So when I saw this image, I'm like, I guess they gave him like another pointy shoulder. That's weird. Yeah. So on the figure, it's like rounded, and forever in my head, I'm like, no, that's the correct way. One shoulder's pointy, one's rounded. And it's so funny here that I'm looking, I'm like, oh, that was not the case. It's there's a whole rabbit hole you can go through on the internet called the Mandela effect, where like it's something that you think you remember, and then someone like shows you what it actually is. You're like, what? That doesn't make any sense. Like, I've been wrong my whole life.
Yeah, and we've all had that to some degree or another, but now it has a name for the term. But I think that does happen a lot with toys for kids. Yes. They're not accurate, but that's the version of it. Going to Star Wars, and I'm going to get to Tony's comment in a second. The one I always think of is the old Star Wars figure, because I'm a bit older. I had the Boba Fett figure, and he has certain colors and like the way, like the color of his suit and stuff, that when they made the more accurate ones, I'm like, shouldn't it be like kind of a more blue? Shouldn't he look like, it just doesn't look right, because I looked at that figure a million hours versus the few times I saw him on screen. And it's, and I think that's true. Like same thing you're saying with the Ecliptor, like, okay. Tony is asking, if Hasbro announced a new deal with Toei, what adaptation do you want? Well, to be clear, I don't think they need a new deal. I think they still have a continuation of what Saban had. It's just if they decide to use whatever. I'm getting semantical. The question is, what would we want? What adaptation would we want for next season?
Yep, I already know mine right away.
Go ahead.
Q Ranger.
I'm torn. I think because I haven't seen a ton of Sentai, but I love ToQger. Love it. Love it. And so I'm like, do that. But you know what? I that's my gut, but I don't want them to do that, because I don't think because I think the suits, I originally hated the suits. I grew to love them because I loved the season. I never loved the mecha. To this day, I don't have a single ToQger. Well, I think I have one or two Reshas sitting around. I don't have any of the mecha, which I should, because I love that season. And I have lots of, Megazords and mecha from various seasons, but I just don't think most of them are bad. There's one or two that are good, like one of the evil ones I think is great, but it's like $200 or something. And I don't think, however they adapted it, would not work, because like it was this charming, quirky thing that I don't want to talk about too much in case people haven't seen it, that I don't think they would adapt to be what it was. And then it would just be a generic Power Ranger season with like crummy uniforms and crummy Zords.
I mean, who knows? They're probably never going to put out any more Megazords, because what Megazords have you seen for Dino Fury? Even solicited.
Well, they did just announce they're putting out a new sword, a new version of the sword.
Woo!
Yeah, there you go. But I agree. Uchi Sentai Q Ranger, which is the space one, which was worked on back before everything switched over to Hasbro and there was input on the design stuff. I think that's one I haven't watched very much of it. I've only watched the first couple episodes. I don't love it. The red, and I know people say he gets better, but Lucky really rubs me the wrong way. But I've said for a long time, I think that's one where I have almost all of the mechs. And I have most of the vinyls. I love the suits. I love the design. I love the way that show looks so much, even though I wasn't that into the story. And it's a huge team, so there's a huge possibility of bringing back older actors or just having a big new cast with like more aliens and non-humans and whatever. So I think, Uchi Sentai Q Ranger would be absolutely the one they should do in my mind. And I was surprised they didn't do it this season, to be honest.
Yeah, Q Ranger seems like the easiest one if they were to test the formula of having a team of mixed between new and old Ranger actors, where it's just and this is reaching a ton, so take it with a grain of salt. But if I'm right, the biggest Ninja Steel point. Like, if there was ever a time to make a character like Mick of an official Ranger, this would be the team. Yeah. You throw him in as like light blue and he's just in there. It's like, yep, here you go. Or you want to bring back, you want to loop it back to SPD or something, one of those aliens. It's whatever you want. The possibilities are endless.
You could have Omega Ranger in his human form instead of in his little ball of light form. Because now it's like, okay, we're at the point in time where he's actually a member and it's like he's the appropriate age.
Yeah.
They could do, Mechanical Clear, so they could do Cassie for, okay, gotcha.
Oh, that'd be kind of cool. I'd be down with that.
Yeah.
And they haven't done any Girl Turbo yet, though. They just did Zero Turbo. Now that I think.
They haven't, I was like, what Turbo? They haven't done any Turbo.
I guess you could do it for In Space. You could do In Space Pink with it.
That kind of going back to Lightning Collection would be against foot soldiers being paired with other characters. Well, if that's the only way you could get them, absolutely. But if you can get them both ways, I'm not terribly against it because I think most people wouldn't mind. Just for me personally, it would be my favorite.
To me, like the way I see it from the Hasbro money making perspective is if the number one thing that sells out of waves is foot soldiers, why would you not re-release them in a way that doesn't like upset people? Right. Like we got really mad with the Psycho re-releases because they're unique characters, but Hasbro kind of treated them like foot soldiers when that's not what they are. And this would be a sense of like, we got a putty with Tommy, and then we got two putties, and then we got a slightly different putty on its own. Hey, Psycho Orange, I like your name.
Yeah, me too. What's funny is, as much as I talked about not being an army builder myself, when those came out, I bought, I forget if it was 2 or 3. You do the same thing, the putty Tommy 2-pack, 2 or 3. and I never got the new Green Ranger that came out later. Like that's my only Green Ranger. And I think I sold one of them because I took the putty out, and I still have one kicking around in my garage. The first one I sold, it was like it was hard to sell because like everybody had nobody want. But I was looking now, like they're actually going for a decent amount because nobody can get any Green Ranger. So I've got this extra one. Just all I got once I get put it up for sale somewhere, I could probably get my money back for the putty that I got with it.
Yeah, I have a buddy of mine who he got the new Green Ranger, and then he's like, oh, but it's like you have to put the two Green Rangers together to have the accurate one. So I was like, I got another Green Ranger. You need a 2-pack Green Ranger? I got one of those. You need one of those?
I also suspect they're going to re-release the second one because they re-released the White Ranger. Like they're not dumb. They know people want. Mick. Yeah, I would have liked Mick to stay around as well. I think he would have been a fun character. And from the going back to Dino Fury, Mick showing up from Ninja Steel. From the initial pictures, I was like, "Oh, he's going to be like in the base all the time," and he wasn't. That was a little bit of a disappointment, but not the same as it.
I wouldn't be shocked that he will be back before the end of the series. That seems highly likely.
That would be cool. And I am a bit behind on comments, by the way. I'm trying to throw them up, but sorry if you're. Let's see, Drake. I'm guessing you wanted to see Ninja Steel Ranger show up. Oh, to the person that said it was a
Drake.
Maybe. I mean, I'm waiting to see if Drake follows up. He might have stepped out of the thing. That would be a fair wish and a fair disappointment. But I guess it's that thing of like, we're not promised that. You know what I mean? Like anybody should like. I guess like I love Jungle Fury, and there was an episode in Super Mega Force where Casey shows up, and he never morphs, and no one else ever shows up. But you know what? I still liked it because I still got some Casey. You know what I mean? It's
exactly.
Like something's better than nothing. And it wasn't like they hyped it like this is a Jungle Fury crossover. No, Casey just showed up. And it was the same with Mick. They didn't bill it as this Ninja Steel crossover, so that I would never thought it was going to be that,
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, Kev's is talking about a lot of the different planets in the Ranger verse.
Oh, okay.
But who knows? What you call it? Tony was saying, yeah, you could make it having them originally come from KO3. I was thinking the same thing where like it'd be cool if Andros was one of those, but then I'm like, I don't know if Christopher Cayman Lee would come back because he has.
I seriously doubt it.
Yeah,
although he is in Bloodlines of the Grid, so maybe.
Well, the thing that and I know you interviewed him, so you have a little more better thumb on the pulse than I do, but my understanding is he's like, Hasbro don't like me, but I like Power Rangers. And if I want to do Power Rangers, I'm doing Power Rangers my way. And they'll be like, you need to be PG rated. And he's like, nope.
Yeah. Well, I think, okay. I'm not speaking. I interviewed him. I'm not friends with him. I don't know him. But he does seem like a dude who's like, he's into like action movies and horror and more PG-13 R-rated stuff, which is fine. But he doesn't seem particularly interested in the current version of Power Rangers, but depending on what it becomes, or like maybe if he came back as a villain or an anti-hero, he might be into that. I think he just doesn't want to be the goody-goody guy again, is the vibe I get.
But that would be cool. I am definitely for that. And honestly, I bet Justin Nemo might come back if you just need a veteran Ranger for it.
He would come back for sure. I will also TJ Selwyn Ward would come back. He already came back once for like half a second. That was disappointing. That was disappointing. But two of my favorite Rangers, well, a lot of people's favorite, and Dimensions of Danger and Ninja Steel, a lot of people's favorite Rangers came back. But two of my favorites, TJ and Antonio, both of which I think literally were like, "Hey, it's Tommy. Oh, thanks." Like that was it. You know, like all right.
Yeah.
Catherine. Sorry. Go ahead.
We're thinking the same thing.
Go for it.
We've talked about interviews more today than ever just because they're so top of mind. In our Turbo panel for Power MorphCon, please go check it out. Catherine actually touches upon this when we ask her, like, what's it been like going back to your character and this and that. And she kind of gave her opinion on it. And I'd be butchering it if I told you, but she agrees with us fans that like Hasbro's got some ways they could do it. And hopefully they do it right. For all the future endeavors.
I've heard a lot of different people talk about ways it could be done. And the simplest thing like that I've heard versions of and thought of myself is like spend more time with the characters coming back, because people that don't know those seasons don't know who these characters are. And people who do know those seasons miss those characters and want to know what's up with them. So like if you have a whole team coming back, then maybe sprinkle those actors in. And I know usually they come and film it all in a few days. That's fine. Film a scene or two for, and then, I'm working in a kitchen now with my kid, or I work for the police force in outer space. And then like you run and just pepper them in so that when the team shows up, you're like, oh, I already kind of know these guys. And now it's interesting to see them together. Whereas, the older fans are disappointed because their favorites don't get any screen time. And the newer fans are like, I guess these are other Rangers. I don't, it's meaningless.
Yeah. I think to Hasbro's credit, I know one thing they always talk about is every season is somebody's first season, but I feel like Beast Morphers, when they did their crossover, was a good job of like, here is some exposition with Dino Charge. Here is some exposition with Jason.
And it was a couple episodes. It still wasn't enough for what most of us wanted, but it was more than we usually have been getting.
Oh,
lately.
Absolutely. Yeah. And same with the villains. We had that whole clip show where it was like, what about this? And, getting the master audio files aside, I thought it was cool that they did that. So if they do, that's why I guess kind of going back to what Drake was saying, like that's why I think I liked episode 8 is because that's still resonating well with me from Beast Morphers. So I have hopes that this isn't the last crossover thing we get this season.
Right. There's some crossover pictures up as we talk.
That's one of my favorite ones. That's also one of my favorite Power Ranger memes.
The Turtles one?
Yeah, it's like when you randomly meet people out and about at a con and you all get along squad to squad.
I think that's a great meme, but that crossover is rough. As a fan,
I love that crossover, but I know it's bad.
Okay. Oh man, I missed a lot of. I appreciate all the comments. Again, I'm sorry we're not doing a better job keeping on top of them.
Let's see.
Okay, Psycho Orange is the last one I think we missed here. I wish they adapted Butsu Sentai Zoujer into new Jungle Season Power Rangers. I haven't seen anything of that Sentai. That's another one where
love the suits, hate the mechs.
I don't like the mechs. Yeah, I think, but I'm old, and younger people who like Minecraft and what's the other game that's like Minecraft? I'm already forgetting.
Roblox.
Roblox. Yeah, maybe that would appeal to some younger, like younger than probably anyone that's watching. But we need that. We need kids to get into it so it continues to exist. I actually do have the Morpher from that season, and I love it because it's just like and that was again talking back to the beginning of this episode. Things that are getting cheap, like I've talked about this before, Sentai seasons and Ultraman, Kamen Rider. It seems like if you look on Amazon or places like that, a year or so after they come out, everything drops to rock bottom, and then it goes up and becomes collectible prices. But for a minute, it's just old toys that kids don't want. And I've gotten a lot of great things like I got the Zoojer Morpher. I feel like I paid $19 for it or something. I don't know what it's going for now, but it was definitely cheaper than what retail was. While I'm on the subject, actually, what was the question? I don't even remember. Oh, Sentai Zoojer. I would not be against it. I do think I have this character as well.
Oh,
Zoo of the World. Who
Yeah.
I know very little about him. I know that his helmet flips and he has like different modes, but he's like gold and silver, and I just thought he was awesome, so I got it. So I'm not against it, but I do wonder about the mechs and how they would do that, and if it would. I don't know. They just kind of look like they look like bricks, figuratively and literally, where it would just sit there. But if it's a good story, I guess it doesn't matter.
True.
Excuse me.
Let's see what else we got.
Yeah. Fun or not kind of to arm build soldiers, which is why I'd be against it. Okay. Yeah.
I think they should do both for it. I think 2 releases for Foot Soldiers is.
Tony's saying if Kira Major were to get adapted, it would be interesting to see it in RPM's universe. I have seen almost nothing of Kira Major, but that makes perfect sense to me, the little bit I've seen. And that's a season that kind of like Sentai Q Ranger, I just love the look of it. It's all very
it looks very cool.
Blade Runnery. It looks really cool. Oh, that's what I was also going to say. Vamp for a second. We'll get this link up real quick.
So one thing for Kira Major's the gem one, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that one, to me, it's funny, and trolling aside, whenever I saw it in some of the mechs, it actually reminded me more of Overdrive than it did RPM, just because of kind of the like digging for diamonds, excavating kind of deal.
I mean, I can see that, I guess.
Once again, he's got to fill for time to get the clip of
Operation Overdrive is my favorite season.
Oh, you're the worst.
I got to fill for no. I can see that though, but I've not seen very much. But there were scenes of like the futuristic, dark kind of city stuff. So I was like, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, but aesthetically, just the look of it, I could see working. But people in comments like Tony probably knows more. But what I was going to say in relation to this, going back to Amazon, the prices have come up a little bit, but you can see that you could get the Megazord. I know it's not called the Megazord, but for $40 right now. Yep. I actually got it for a little bit cheaper the other day, and you can see they have the more for $30. Now these might go down even more and then go back up. But again, I got all of the Sentai Q Ranger stuff for like half at least of retail, and now they've gone back up. So it's something to watch if these are things you're interested in now or very soon is the time to buy. And if you wait too long, they go back up. Yeah. But you see like half of these are on sale to some degree or another. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it's funny. I actually want the model kit if I found it for cheap more than I want the Zord.
The model kit is on sale, but it's still $60. Oh, yeah, wait, the weapon set. Sorry.
It's a thing where like this Zord is notoriously small.
Yeah, and the one arm looks kind of dinky, and I don't like to get model kits because I don't like to build model kits, and I like everything to be in scale. But you're saying this probably won't really be in scale. It'll be more in scale than the model kit. But I don't want to build a model kit. But I was tempted because I think this looks really cool. I'm a sucker for clear plastic and that kind of stuff. But there are, I don't know if there's sound, but there's definitely a light mechanic.
Yeah. And
so I want it to light up. And the model won't light up, so I'm not getting the model.
After you got it the other day, I actually watched a video of a YouTube reviewer called MGO, who I recommend if you have never seen him.
Is it MGO or EMGO? Oh, I know him. Yeah.
MGO here, the freaking geek himself. So he shows that you can put the 5 mechs into like 2 Zords. Mm-hmm. And I actually prefer that versus like everything in one.
Right.
Which reminded me again of the Q Ranger stuff where they have like 2 of them that go together. That's not quite a Megazord, but kind of a thing. And then 3 of them together, kind of like the current mech, where it's like it's mostly a Zord, but you can kind of.
You mean Ryu Soldier?
That's what I meant.
Okay, because
Q Ranger both of them do it.
No, Q Ranger, you kind of need them. Otherwise, they have no arms.
It reminded me of Gold and Silver for Q Ranger.
Oh, where they're like their own little robots?
Yeah.
See, I just saw that as like the alt mode, like that they all have.
But those ones feel like full-size Zords, whereas like you get a little shift. And
they're
it's
full size in this. Wait a minute. Wait. Are you talking about Go Busters?
No.
Turning the Beast Morphers? Because that I can see what you're saying.
I'm talking about for Dino Fury or Ryu Soldier. Red Ranger Zord can be a full-blown Megazord-sized Zord by itself.
Yes.
And you could put others on it, and it's cool.
Yes.
Or you could just keep it by itself. This is the same thing.
Okay. The names were being confused, and that was what was confusing me. I'm with you now. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Let's see. Drake Jago. As a fan of Trent, that crossover sucked bad with all the Tommy worship. He got lost. Oh yeah, Dimensions of Danger. Yeah, he was just another casualty. And here's the thing: I was fine with the Tommy stuff. Tommy is, whether you like him or not, he's the most popular Ranger of all time. He's the most well-known. He was in Super Mega Force and like barely got to do anything, and people lost their minds. So giving Tommy all that extra stuff, and he's not my favorite Ranger of all time, but I like him. And I thought it was really cool. The Master Morpher stuff, that fight, that was all great. I had no problem with that. But what we needed was an episode before and or after that helped highlight all the other characters.
Everybody else,
do the Tommy worship, that's fine, but make sure everybody else has something going on. You know, they're trying to escape, they're trying to break in, they come up with a plan, something, give them something to do. So, but Trent was like more than half of them were treated as just like one line, we happen to be here as well.
Yeah.
And let's see, Kieran Porter. Is it Kieran?
Yeah, Kieran Porter.
Yes, Ninja Steel. I'm giving myself a Ninja Steel. I don't care. Selwyn Ward has come back almost as much as Tommy if we ignore Dino Thunder. Selwyn Ward's come back twice, right? He came back for Super Mega Force and he came back for Ninja Steel. What was the other one?
Forever Red.
Oh, yeah. And then I guess there was the In Space. Wait,
In Space Lost Galaxy.
Yeah, okay. All right. There you go. Well, good. More.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's funny too, just because TJ is such a good character that like he integrates wherever he's at, and you sometimes forget.
Yeah. No, I don't think kids are dumb. I don't think they're like, what's happening? I think it just they like same as like you said, the other hero show. They get that it's other heroes, but it's not gonna have the same impact. Yeah. You know, like if you like, I'm trying to think of a good example, but I can't. But I definitely remember watching shows when I was a kid where they'd have like, oh, here's a better example. Here's an adult example. Watching, I don't know as much about Sentai and Space Sheriff movie stuff. I think I watched with you, Big Dog, the modern Gavon that came out like 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
I had never watched the old Gavon show. It was like a 70s, 80s Toku show. And they have this older guy, like a middle-aged guy with like a leather jacket. And he's kind of like, what's going on? And it turns out he's the original Gavon. But they did it in a way where you cared about him and he seemed cool and you got a little bit of his history. And when he suited up too, you're like, oh, wow. Whereas if he had just shown up and been like, I heard you need help, and suited up and be like, okay, it's another Gavon. But like in that movie, having never seen any Gavon but the new one, I was invested in the older guy too. And I feel like that's what they need to do when they bring back Power Rangers is give the legacy heroes time before they just suit up and become another superhero.
Yeah, I think it's a thing. It goes to storytelling regardless of if it's Toku or if it's an American show. Of you have old fans and new fans watching, make it where both will enjoy it and don't have to pick one over the other.
Right. So Drago is finally clarified. I'm in huge disagreement. I honestly don't want, and I don't think older characters should come back. I feel it's emblematic of the franchise's inability to move forward, and I also couldn't care less. We're gonna have to agree to disagree. I will say you're obviously entitled to your opinion. I do have the franchise has trouble moving forward. I agree with you there, but I don't think honoring legacy characters is inherently wrong. I think it can be done well, and I think most of the fan base likes it when older characters come back. And going back to the Japanese example, they do it all the time with all their franchises to great success. And they're moving forward all the time. They're more prolific with creation, So you're entitled to not enjoy it, but just know that you're kind of in the minority, I think. Yeah,
some of my favorite episodes of Rangers as a whole are from the crossover episodes.
Yeah, agreed. And even when they're not, that's the thing. Almost all of them should be done better. But even when they're not done especially good, it's still like, oh, at least we got to see those guys team up. That's kind of cool. It's like going back to superheroes. A bad issue of Spider-Man is a bad issue of Spider-Man. But if Wolverine shows up, that's a little better because at least we got Wolverine too. That's kind of fun. Exactly. They argued it, and if it's good, then it's suddenly great. Like then you get Forever Red or something like that. Let's see. You too. Hope you are staying safe and have a good one. Thanks for stopping by. Kev, you're throwing out a lot of info about the Lightning Collection. I'm not posting it up because I feel like you're kind of just saying a lot of the same stuff. So people could check it out in the chat if they're interested, but I don't want to keep going over the same stuff. And then, I thought you were leaving. Tokuger will never adapt it if they make it like Dark World. Just like, will Tokuger never adapt it? If adapt, they'll make it like Dark World, like RPM. Oh, I see what you're saying. Because RPM was based on Goandra, which was not dark.
Yeah. And by making it dark, it made it maybe.
Maybe. I don't think they will. I think you're right. But they would. And that's my point. They would change it so much. I mean, I'm saying they can't do it well. But maybe they could, but because I like the source material so much, there's no way they could make it. So I like it, To
me, and correct me if I'm wrong from your end, Gaz, but it seems like they're kind of not doing a great job of making Power Rangers a good toy commercial anymore.
Well, they're also not doing a good job of making the toys.
That's what I'm saying. Where it's like Beast Morphers was a prime example of this is a great new Zord. Can I get the Beast X Zord? No, never. You get a shampoo bottle. But that's it.
Yeah, and they really, not everyone is like me, obviously. But I wanted the motorcycle. If I got the motorcycle, I would have bought several. Without the motorcycle, I wanted zero. Yeah. So this is and I know again, that's not everybody, but there's a lot of people that just want all of them and now have this weirdly incomplete set. That,
That's another rabbit hole we can go down. But I think Q Ranger is a way where they could really ramp it up if they plan ahead of time of you got 10 Rangers starting. Let's go. Yeah.
And you could flesh them out later. Lupin versus Pato Ranger would be interesting. Fresh adaptation for Power Rangers. But I think fans only watch Ranger will bash suits. I do think it would be a fresh way to take it. And it could go back to what Big Dog was talking about before with Hexagon. It could definitely work. Do you think people would bash the suits? I mean,
one of them's really goofy.
With the cape? Hold on. I have it right here because I like it. The police.
They're both really gaudy looking suits.
This is the Pato Ranger for those that don't know. Or Lupin Ranger, I'm sorry. These are the thieves, for lack of a term. I think the helmets kind of in a way remind me of Time Force. And capes are cool. I wouldn't want every season to have capes, but we got Mystic Force. Was it just Mystic Force?
Yep.
Oh, I guess because there were more Sentai characters. Yeah, I don't know. Well, you know what? If people are gonna bash it just because, like I said, Tokyudra, I did not like the suits. I watched it, now I like it. So like, if people are gonna go, I hate those suits, so I won't watch it. That's ridiculous. That's like a weird metric. And if it's supposed to be for kids, kids aren't gonna have these preconceived notions. I don't know. It's hard to know what's in the heads of executives that make these decisions sometimes.
Yeah. I think it's a thing though that regardless. Oh, I guess Magna Defender has a cape, Kev said.
Yeah, there are characters that have capes, but not full teams.
And I was going to say Ninja, but Ninja for sure did not have a cape.
No, he did not.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. Are you planning to do Campbell Cooley's third?
We don't have a plan for that right now. We would love to talk to him again. He's a friend of the show. He's an interesting fellow that always has more things to talk about. I'm not saying we have it planned, but it's always a possibility. And it's always a possibility for any actor. We would like to talk to anybody.
Yep.
And people that we've talked to before, there's a greater chance we will talk to them again. That's how I'll answer that.
What I will say, as Campbell being a friend of the show, I prefer interviewing Campbell when Campbell doesn't need to work around his answers. And until the end of Beast Morphers, all he could do was like sweat that we're going to ask something that he's like, oh, I don't know how to answer that. We're like, I'd rather, and I love talking to Campbell. First, let me get out of the way, but I'd prefer to talk to him after Beast Morphers is done. So it's like, or not, wow, Beast Morphers. Yeah, after Dino Fury's done.
We did our first interview while Beast Morphers was going. Well, I did it solo, and I didn't talk about Beast Morphers at all. Then we waited till Beast Morphers was over, and we talked about Beast Morphers. So likely, and he hasn't agreed to anything, to be clear. So I'm not holding him to anything. But if we were going to do it again, likely it would be after this season is over, or both seasons, unfortunately. That's not set in stone that we won't do it earlier. It's not set in stone that we will do it. But the most likely scenario, if we did it, would be shortly after the season wraps.
Yeah. Drake actually had another.
I would like all of the RPM Rangers.
Oh, same. Drake had another piece about kind of our.
Not been to India now.
Our crossover, not crossover debate.
You've never been, real quick. You've never been in India, have you? Now?
Nope. Scroll down almost.
Oh, here we go. This one?
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Maybe in the minority, but a lot of people my age have similar opinions to mine based on the people I talk to. However, yeah, it's an opinion I have. Yeah, I mean,
I don't know how old you are, but Big Dog's younger than me, so I mean, if you feel comfortable saying your age, you could say it and to see maybe it is an age thing. But I mean, all of my, other than Big Dog, I don't have any real life Ranger friends. Like, so everybody I see, it's like online. I watch videos just like you guys. I watch videos and I'm on Twitter and Instagram.
Yep.
So I'm basing the thoughts and opinions on things I see in the fandom, not on my old friends that don't watch Power Rangers anyway. So you might be right. I don't know.
To me, like it kind of like we were saying with the adaptation or whatever, it's all about how it's done. There are good crossovers, there are bad crossovers. There are good comics, there are bad comics. When it comes to Ranger stuff, we've seen both examples so well that especially with Hasbro, so far Hasbro has a better track record with me with crossovers where kind of like we were saying with Neo Saban era, Super Mega Force is a crossover season. Not well regarded. Like you could do it right and you could do it wrong. So I get that.
Going back to Dimensions in Danger, missed opportunities, not perfect, very flawed. A lot of people's favorite characters, including me, not handled well, but more satisfying and more fun than any episode of Super Mega Force.
Yep.
So better. Was it an A? No, but it wasn't an F. So
yeah. It's I don't know. That's why I'm so excited to see good, bad, or in between what happens after Dino Fury, so we could see, like, is it a brand new team? Is it animated? Is it still going to be Sentai? Is it blah, blah, blah? Is it mature? Is it not? Like, that's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for the news on here's what's coming next, and that's what
I'm expecting. What my perfect storm is, we get three distinct shows.
Yes,
we get a continuation of normal Power Rangers Sentai footage in some way, shape, or form.
Yep.
We get an animated show for a younger audience, like younger, like not stupid, like slapsticky, but maybe like a Steven Universe or an Adventure Time or something, or maybe even younger. I don't care, because I always say we need to, if younger fans don't get into it, then it won't matter. and then an older one on Netflix or something that maybe brings back veteran actors, maybe doesn't. But like having the 3 would be fantastic. And then you could watch what you like, don't watch what you don't want to watch, whatever. What the heck? Oh, I thought I pulled up my notes and it says Mark Hamill. I'm like, Mark Hamill. This is notes for something else. What was I pulling up notes for?
Oh, to see who you like better, Slider or Boom Tower.
Yeah, because he said Slider and it was Slither. I was checking to see if I was wrong. So who does everyone like better, Slither or Boom Tower? You guys feel free to answer in the chat. It's a little early to tell, but I feel like I'm going to say Slither. Wait, Slither, because it's like Slither, but it's Slither, right?
I think so, yeah.
I will say Boom Tower, I think, has the cooler design. I think he's a more unique, fun kind of a cannon robot, whereas Slither is visually interesting but not distinct. I feel like I've seen characters that kind of sort of looked a little bit like him before. He's not as intimidating, but his character is way more interesting in my mind. Boom Tower is just a standard, I'm a warrior, I'm Goldar, I'm going to fight, but he looks cool. Yeah. I think Slither, as a figure, Boom Tower is better. As a character, Slither is better. That's how I'd put it.
Agreed.
All right. Well, we solved that.
Yeah. Iron Sea and SP Man brought up a cool point about the crossover. Crossover debate seems mixed, honestly. I'm not a fan of every team ever being tied to the Morph Masters. I mean, retroactive continuity.
I wasn't even thinking of the Morph Masters, to be honest.
To me, like kind of the way that a lot of things in comics don't make sense. For certain things in Power Rangers, I'm willing to just accept that it's a thing to get more fun.
Yeah, the Morphin Masters thing, I keep forgetting about it because it so far hasn't mattered at all.
Yeah.
And it could just be a little wink to like, hey, we talked about this in the comics. And that could be the end of it. Or it could become a huge plot point by the end of the series, which either becomes awesome or terrible.
Yeah.
But like right now, I'm not thinking of it as every team being tied to the Morphin Masters. I'm thinking of it as I really like, at the very least, when they do the handoffs. Like, I just like it. Even like I've talked this before, because when I was going through seasons, not too long ago, for the first time, seasons that I didn't particularly like, those Rangers would show up in the next season and I'd be like, hey, it's them. But like, there's something like nostalgia, even for something I watched 6 months ago. Like, it's like seeing your old high school buddy that they were okay, but then you see them a few years later, like, hey, I remember you from there.
I mean, the thing that I think of for Power Rangers, I know they do this in Gundam, where there's one continuity where certain ones are sequels and there's other ones where it's by itself. I'm fine with that with Power Rangers. I just like that no matter what season or series or whatever iteration we get, Power Rangers are a concept that exists. Right. And like RPM is a perfect example. It's its own thing, but they're like, you're a Power Ranger. So there's other teams that we don't know about, but like it's its own world.
I like that too. Yeah. That it's you can be from space, a different dimension, out of time, but there's like, it's like recognizing like somehow. Yeah. And I also,
go for it.
And the way sometimes it's handed to them by a mentor, sometimes it's discovered by a scientist, sometimes it's an accident. But there's some energy force that they're all tapping into in different ways. The Morphin Masters, again, that complicates things, but I'm just not thinking about it too much, to be honest.
Yeah.
Tony Robinson, what do you think of fans who downplay the later seasons when they haven't watched them? I think that they should watch them or shut up.
Yeah, I'm in that boat because I've done it. And that's part of the reason why we're watching Overdrive, so I can have a definitive opinion by the end.
I'm half joking about the shut up. I don't ever want to tell people don't share your opinion. You're not allowed to say whatever, because people can do whatever they want. But no matter how good, bad, or indifferent something is, if you don't watch it and give it a chance, I personally, speaking for me, not speaking for anybody else, I don't have a lot of respect or put a lot of stock in what you're saying about the thing.
There's not much weight in the opinion.
Wait, there you go. Yes, thank you. Respect is maybe the wrong word. If you have not watched a season, and now if you watch half the season, you just can't do it and you bail. Okay, I guess you didn't like the season. Yeah, but the people who are like, this season's terrible because I saw the trailer, I watched half of one episode. It's like, okay, it's fair that you don't want to watch it or it didn't look like it was for you, but you don't really have the knowledge to critique it then. You didn't like I've watched every episode of every season except for Mystic Force and Overdrive at this point, I think. And some I love, some I really didn't like, and some are, fine. But even the worst seasons, there are things I like about them. And even the best seasons, there are things I don't like about them. So if you're going to be out there having strong opinions, you should have informed opinions, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yep, that's fair. I mean, I'm in that camp of I didn't finish Ninja Steel, but I feel like I watched enough of it where I went, I haven't watched all of it, but it's not my favorite, and I'm kind of fine not finishing it.
And that is a perfectly valid statement for anyone to make. But I also just don't understand the rampant negativity where people are like, well, I dislike Ninja Steel so much that I need to, even if you have watched the whole season, that I'm just going to like go on every message board and bash the actor. But like, it's like, what, if you don't like it, just move on. Like, why dwell on that negativity? So I don't know. I think we answered that question.
Yeah. And just a kind of final thing on it where like, I feel like there's so many actors that we've seen at conventions where like it's one of those things where we personally have had it flipped around where it's like, man, I really didn't like your character, but like you're a really cool person. Like,
I mean, there's two different issues. There's the issue of just hating on a season and people that like the season where it's like, let people like things, who cares, you know?
Yeah.
And then there's what's worse is when people attack the actor because they're actors, and the worst crime they could be guilty of is doing a bad job acting, which is not a terrible crime and not worth being harassed over. But more often than not, the script, the producer, the production schedule, you don't know what contributed to it because, again, we don't want to name names, but there are actors, I'll even speak for myself instead of anyone else. There are actors where I was like, they are a terrible actor. And then I saw them do stuff in another show or talk in real life, and I'm like, they're not a terrible actor.
Yeah.
Something else happened on their season that made it seem like they weren't good. They weren't given the right material. They were directed badly. Who knows? But, and not to say there aren't bad actors in the world, but again, even if they are a bad actor, so what? That's, it doesn't make them a bad person. Doesn't make it worthy of. Anyway, Iron Cena's P-Man says Transformers is the main show, preschool show, and the one that ties into collectors for older friends. Exactly. I would like to see Power Rangers handled like Transformers. And I'm a fan of so much stuff. It's a mess. I'm a big Transformers fan too. And there's a lot of Transformers I don't like. And not that I'm trying to poop on things that people like. I don't like any of the Michael Bay movies. If you like them, great, fine, that's for you. But that's my point. That's not my favorite version, but there are plenty. I loved Transformers Prime, for example. And so when those movies were coming out, I'm like, fine, I got Transformers Prime. Like there's something for everyone. And if the bigger the universe gets and the more versions there are, the more likely there's going to be something. Star Wars too. I wasn't a huge fan of the prequels, and I wasn't a huge fan of the sequels, but I loved Rebels, and I'm loving Bad Batch, and I love The Mandalorian, and so it's the bigger we could make Power Rangers, the more likely there is stuff for you to like, and the stuff you don't like, you can just ignore. That's the way I feel about it.
Yeah, my thing is, as long as the content's being put out, it's always going to be judged about what came before and what came after. But we all love Power Rangers. We all have different seasons we like, but the reason we're here is Power Rangers. We're talking about it. There's obviously something we like, so. I don't hear a lot of hate for Dino Charge. I mean, there are people who don't like it or didn't like the ending of the Super season, but what I generally hear is in the Neo Saban era, Dino Charge is the best season. That's generally like the general opinion I hear. And I share that as well. Objectively. I mean, I love Samurai, but I do agree that Dino Charge seems to be the one, that. Yeah. But I mean, maybe I'm not hearing the same hate you are, but. Or maybe maybe these are fans that's the only Neo Saban season they watched. I don't know. Mac and LeClaire said Slither is his favorite villain this year because of the character. Gotcha. Gotcha.
We're over an hour, so we're gonna have to end soon. But
we are gonna wrap very soon.
Sick Orange. I recommend you guys watch my fan-made Power Rangers Megazord Battle YouTube channel. It's called Ranger versus Kong.
Oh, nice.
I don't know if you could drop a link in the comments. Feel free. I don't know. I don't know what the settings are. I won't be upset if you do. Put it that way. If you could do it, great. Otherwise, people could search for it.
Psycho Orange.
Psycho Orange. Is that the name of your YouTube channel, though? I know your name. I've seen you around. I don't remember if I subscribed to your channel or not, but if I don't, I will try to do that after this. But yeah, if there's a link, definitely drop it. Or I'll tell you what. Also, if you want to, we have the Action Activate Facebook page. Send it there. Send it a message there, and I'll just post it right on our page. I'll share it with everybody.
That'd actually be better for everybody.
Yeah, that would actually be the best because then everybody will have it.
Yeah, send a PM there. Kev had a question where the Morphin Masters were introduced. I believe it was introduced in the comics first, but I may be wrong, and maybe it was in Mighty Morphin in passing, but who knows?
I had the exact same answer. I thought it was in the comics, but you know what? I think maybe it was vaguely mentioned in Mighty Morphin, and there was like a shadowy image or like a grainy Sentai footage of people in cloaks, I think. But I think it was more that it was retconned to make it a bigger deal than it was, or something.
Yeah.
Like we never thought about it again, and then they like went back and
Yeah, Iron CNSP Man said that it was in one episode of MMPR, and then the current iteration that we've seen, those designs are from the comics.
Right. Iron Smith. I mean, Beast Morphers, all the dinos, Ninja Steel, and more.
Not sure the context of the comment.
Yeah.
Full transparency, there's so many comments. That's why we're
and I love it.
confused.
But it's thank you everybody for participating so much. But it's actually going kind of quick. No one's don't spoil the comics, right? Okay, I'm gonna skip some of these because I'm not sure what they're referring to.
Yeah.
Oh, Kev's Collectible is trying to get us to guess. He's saying don't spoil it. And I think we just answered that sort of. If that's wrong, then we don't know. I can declare. I don't mind them being involved with Dino Thunder, Dino Turtles. Oh, you're saying the Morphin Masters.
Morphin Masters, yeah.
Yeah, like I said, until we know more about what they're doing with it, it's kind of like with the whole are we gonna see a split from Toei thing? Until I know more, I don't have a strong opinion.
Same.
And, and even when it happens, it could go bad or good or whatever.
Yeah.
Let's see. So, oh yeah, welcome aboard. We didn't plan this. We decided this today, and then we didn't tell anyone. We just went live just for the heck of it.
Yeah.
We're near the end now, unfortunately, but the recording will be up there. Let's see. I just don't like God. Everything doesn't make sense with it. I mean, we don't know they're magical either. They could be scientists from the future. We don't know what they are. Again, I hate to keep saying this because I know, like, you guys are like, well, what do you think? And this is what I think, and like kind of debate it or like. But I don't think there's enough information for me to have a strong opinion about it yet. If they never bring it up again, then we'll just forget it happened. And until they do, well, I will. I guess some people can't, but and I don't mean that in a bad way. Like we all work.
I liked them in the comics enough without being spoilery, and then them being expanded on the show, I think is cool.
I liked in the comics more than the Morphin Masters. I forget what they're called, but they're like the
the three.
Yeah, like all the Yellow Rangers, all the like.
Emissary, not emissary.
There were embodiment. There's a word I wanted to say emissary too, but
maybe it isn't. No.
The essence.
No, it's not essence. Maybe
it
is.
For those that don't know, they would look like every Red Ranger, but they'd keep switching around and like it'd be swirling around constantly.
Yeah.
I thought they were really cool, but they also weren't like we're in charge of everything. We're just sort of like we represent the emblematic.
They were like the Watchers in the Marvel universe. They're like we're here and we're evolved from afar.
Yeah, but I thought they were very visually interesting and stuff.
Yep, agreed.
Let's see.
The Nerds Next Door had a comment I wanted to look at.
Well, the argument there, and this again, if I'm writing it like that the Morphin Masters are ultimately behind everything, you could say that they provided the power and then Ninjor found made the power coins.
And like forged them into the coins or something.
Yeah, like he might not have known. Like that's the thing. They'll have to make it so that not everybody, because there's in Jungle Fury, he makes the solar morphers and stuff. And like, it's not like he's like, oh, I was talking to the Morphin Masters. It's just someone discovers the power and finds a way to harness it. So my thought is that the Morphin Masters are just sort of like, let's make the power available to these people. Let's
same with like light speed. It's like we tapped into the Morphin grid, and it's like who created whatever.
Samurai will get eternal for me for being the most. Oh, because they're white people. Yeah, and that's fair. That's a totally fair criticism. I didn't think of that when I was watching it. Like I've said before, it was the first season I watched since Zeo or Turbo. So it was just like coming back to it. It was just fun to be back. But yeah, it's. But again, you can't blame the people, the actors, for decisions made above their pay grade, I guess.
Agreed.
And we'll move on from that. The Nerds Next Door. What did Nerds Next Door say? You already said it. I'll put it up again.
I've only seen like the first 4 to 5 seasons in the 90s, but I 100% agree that people need to stop hating on stuff before. Yeah. Yeah,
agreed.
I only read the first part where it said seen the first 4 to 5 seasons, and then I was waiting to read the rest.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that seems to be. Oh, there's still more. Jeez, you guys are awesome with the comments. Sorry, we are slow readers.
Yeah, well, I think because we talk and we're not looking, and then it builds up.
Yeah.
Kev, I'm not sure what your question is. You should just give us the answer. Assume we don't know the answer. And
yeah. But I mean, I know we gotta. If Hasbro decided to create a new original team for their movie, Oh,
I'd
I'd
be
love
fine
it.
with that. I'd be fine with that. Yeah.
Yeah, 1,000%.
I love Mighty Morphin as much as anybody, but new stuff is always good. I don't, and it would be probably more successful because they wouldn't be competing with what we think it should be as much.
Exactly. Like I think the thing with the 2017 movie is they did this weird skirting the line of it all has to be the same but completely different, and like, yeah, you know.
That's sarcastic, I assume.
But I know we got to start
That was
wrapping.
funny.
Is there anything else you wanted to touch upon or?
No, I
talk
think
about
we
before?
could just try to close out these comments. I'm sorry, guys. I thank you so much for participating so much.
Yes, thank you.
We didn't expect this many people to show up without us giving notice.
A heads up or anything.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's good to chat with everybody again.
Yeah.
And not that I don't like chatting with everybody during interviews, but this is so much easier to be like, I really want to talk about that, and not be like, hey, person that we specifically
Right.
asked to be here, I'd like to monopolize your time with something I want to talk about.
Right. Yeah. It's hard to talk about such things. Sai says, I'm binge watching most seasons for the first time now. I often get bored because the pattern is the same. Yes, I agree. It's tough. I've had a similar thing. But what is good is when you get those breakout seasons that break the pattern, it's super refreshing.
Like SPD.
Yeah, like SPD. I would recommend maybe watching another show in between or taking a few weeks off, instead of literally going back into it, because there are some seasons that it's just very, very similar.
Yeah, Power Rangers is a show that is a lot more palatable, kind of spaced out because of that. Whereas I've had the opposite effect where some shows, when it's slow, it's really slow, but when you binge it, it's not as bad.
Okay. Sorry, I wasn't listening to you.
Oh, it's all good. It was mostly to everybody
It's
else.
the alarm that I got to feed my cat, so we really got to go in a minute. Morphin Masters are officially magic scientists.
There you go.
Done.
Canon.
Do you think Scrozzle will be in the future because of the crossover? I want him to be.
Yeah.
I think he should be. Who knows what they're going to do? I think at the very least he should show up in the comics, but I would like him to show up in the show as well.
The good news is if they choose
Emissaries.
to do that,
They're
Emissaries, thank you. The good news is if they choose to, the voice actor is not far away. So that's good.
There you go.
I think that's it, though.
Kev is asking us who is I don't know who that is.
Void Knight.
Oh, Void Knight. Oh, you're just asking us to speculate on the identity of Void Knight?
No clue.
I've heard a theory floated. This is not my theory, but what's Hunter Deno's character? Pink Ranger.
Oh, her grandpa?
No. Her father.
Oh, interesting.
And that the woman is her mother. I don't.
Amelia?
Amelia, yes. It's a very it's an interesting theory. It's not mine.
Yeah.
I think it could be true, but I don't have a theory beyond that, so I'll glom onto that theory. And I wish I could tell you who I heard it from. I forget now. It was somebody on Twitter, some Power Ranger, somebody on Power Ranger that talked about Power Ranger. Somebody on Twitter that talks about Power Rangers. That's find them. Becca Leclerc, Ninja is Pseudomorph Masters. You have to watch Dino Fury to find out. I've watched all 11 episodes of Dino Fury. Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's 11 on.
Just starting Lost Galaxy is going to be different. You know what? I think, well, first of all, Sai, if you didn't like In Space, you might be in for some rough patches because most people really like In Space. I personally think it started a little bit rough and then gets amazing by the end.
Well, I think In Space is the most different than the first 4.
Agreed. Lost Galaxy, I like Lost Galaxy and I like Lightspeed Rescue too. And I think there's still going to be a formula. Like there's always the formula, but they're different enough. I think Lost Galaxy is great. I mean, Magnet Fender is a great character, and it's in outer space, but it's like kind of on a planet. It's hard to say because it's hard to know what someone's going to like because even people that like Power Rangers and love Power Rangers, like some seasons they completely disagree on. So I put Lost Galaxy as a very solid season. I give it like a B overall.
Yeah, I think that's where we rated it.
Yeah, so hopefully you like it, but. Park Ranger is my theory for Void Knight. I hope not.
I hope.
I hope that the Park Ranger gets written out completely. I don't think we ever need to see him again.
I'm sorry to cut you off, guys. I have to use the restroom so bad. We need to wrap.
Okay, guys. Sorry. I appreciate it. Maybe we'll do another live one sooner rather than later, but we will have a review very soon. And tomorrow there'll be a episode that
Yeah,
We
just
can't even
watch
talk
it.
about right now.
Just watch.
Check it out. It should be up tomorrow. All right, I'm gonna just do the end credits. Thank you so much for watching live. If you're watching
Thank you.
afterwards, thank you for that too, and throw up some comments and whatever. Check out our panels that we did for Power Morphicon, Wild Force, and Turbo. Check out everything that's everything. I don't know what that means, but we got to go because he's got to go to the little boys' room.
I do.
Right,
I drank that full water
end
this whole
credits.
time.
I'm
To the
Gazbar.
power.
He's
Big Dog to the power.
Okay, bye.